Good morning. Today is Sunday, November 26, 2023, and this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast. So looking at where Bitcoin went in the past week and seeing where it could potentially go in the future. Hopefully everyone had a good Thanksgiving week, spent some time with family and friends. With Bitcoin, not that much happened, and that was to be expected, right? This is a holiday week, so really you only had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. The markets are still open, but no one's really trading on Thanksgiving. And then Black Friday, a small move, but nothing crazy. So looking at it right here, you have, this is still the monthly chart. So you have January, February, March was a big month. And then you had a period of nothingness, pretty much a huge October, and then a pretty decent November. So we're up 8% in November. So it's still a pretty good month. Up to this point. And again, this is the 26th. So we'll probably close, I don't know, somewhere 8 plus or minus 2 or 3% of here. Or we could just kind of go nowhere and just kind of range at that 8%, but we'll see how that ends up working out. Right. Going down to the weekly chart. If we look at it, this, like I said earlier, this past week was pretty much nothing. This was your major move in October going into November. Really, the last 2 weeks haven't really moved that much. The 2 doji candles here that you have. So you have the second week of November and then this past week of November that, kind of did a little up down range motion right in here, but still ended up kind of in the same spot that they started. And I think this week will end up closing that way as well. So it'll really kind of depend on next week. This was pretty much the movement. This one candle right here was pretty much the movement for October. So let's take a look a little bit farther. We'll put on the drawings here. I've said before, I'll say it again, 38,000 is going to be that resistance point. And we're seeing that play out. So we ran up to 38,000 and then just kind of stalled out there. We stalled out at 38,000, touched it, came back, touched it, came back, touched it, came back. So that's about 3 taps that we've had so far within the last couple of weeks that have led to believe that 38K is going to be a pretty strong resistance. But I've been saying that was going to be the case ever since way back over here. Way back over here, I realized that this is one of the next zones after we break this 32K. I don't think we'll see another one of these where we go. This was how many weeks? That was. It took. How many is that? How many bars is that? 196 days. So yeah, it took 6 months to break 38K. I'm sorry, 32K. So again, this support and resistance. I did have this red earlier because I viewed it as a resistance, but now it's flip support. What I would like to see and what I think may end up happening is we'll come back down here, kind of hit somewhere around 31,000, and then that will allow us to continue on to the upside. So, again, we're seeing pretty strong resistance here, and we saw it in other places too. So again, like even way back in 2020, we came up to 38,000 and then we shot down, and then we came up and blew through that. And then, we kind of hung out here. You couldn't really get too far above 38,000, came back down to this level. So it's going to be a period of like a little bit of ping pong between these 2 levels right here. Where's 38K? Yeah. So we came down here, touched it for a second, came back, touched it again, came back, finally broke through it. And then we haven't seen it again since here. So we had multiple points in the past where it touched it and, kind of turned around. So I think we could end up seeing that again. We may have one more opportunity to get in around 31,000. I'm not sure if that'll be the case, but I do think that is a reasonable scenario that we could kind of portray. So yeah, again, that's coming down to 31,000 and then continuing on to the upside. And then the other alternative is us just, we get some type of news event. I don't know what that might be. Get some type of news event and we break through 38,000 and get around 40,000 and then just hold there for a while. Kind of let that absorb a bit. And then we just continue on with that move. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, I said the next move was probably going to be somewhere around 44,000. But that's kind of what we're looking at. So if we go down to the daily chart, we had a couple moves here. So again, this was your major move in October. So you had, it kind of started in September actually. So around September 11th or so, you came up higher high. Well, yeah, what was that? You had your low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then we didn't really have another low. Oh, we didn't really have another point until around right here. So it's like, again, major higher high that, kind of pulled back a bit. And then ever since then, we've been kind of trailing in this direction. So if we look at it right here, trailing in that direction. So now we're kind of forming this wedge a bit. So we're going up, and now we're just kind of in this consolidation period to where it looks like now we're coming down, which could be your catalyst to come down here. But like I said, we're in this period of consolidation. So we could see it come all the way up to the tip and then shoot down, or we could see it shoot up. But again, anytime you have movement like this, again, we've been doing this for about a month. Anytime, the tighter and tighter that this coil gets, the more explosive the next move is going to be. So that's, places where you can be prepared with stop orders to where like, okay, well, maybe if it breaks past 36,000, I believe it's going to continue going, or 35,700, I believe it's going to keep going back down to here. And that could be some decent profit. Or you could go to the opposite side. Like maybe I believe it's going to go to 44,000. Either way, once you have like this range motion, like right here, it leads to a much more explosive move, as we saw here. This range for this was 817 all the way to about 1017. So that was 2 months of just ranging that wasn't going anywhere. And then you had a major explosive move. It moved about $10,000 in about 10 days. So we went from 26,000 all the way up to 37,000 in a span of 25 days. So about a month. Yeah, it took about a month for it to get up there. But really most of the movement happened right here in about 10 days. In about 10 days, that was about $10,000, $8,500 roughly, but still, pretty big move in 10 days that, a lot of people caught action on. So, that's, let me see, what else is there to talk about? Not a ton. Again, like there's news of like the Ethereum ETF, and there's anticipation of the Bitcoin ETF potentially being approved in early January. So about January 10th, so about mid-January, that they believe that is going to be approved, just because that is the first deadline. And once you approve one, it becomes pretty hard to say that you're not going to approve the other ones as well. So, I mean, that ends up sending a large flood of money into the market, into Bitcoin and whatnot. So again, every day approaching the halving, and doing all those types of things. So, let me see what else we got. It's the 4-hour chart. Again, you can see like a whole bunch of range in here once you had that major move. Moving to the upside, just a lot of choppy price action, honestly. A lot of choppy price action. There was a decent move right here, and then a decent move to the downside. So you could have played ping pong in between there. Move to the upside again, move to the downside. And then this is a pretty aggressive move from Tuesday of this past week all the way up through Friday of this past week. It ended up moving up to the upside. So now that we've touched that, you could see it come down to the downside, but again, we'll see. Like I said, not a ton to talk about this week. I think we'll pretty much chop it there. These past 2 weeks have been doji candles, so up and down with no real clear direction. So we'll leave it at that and see what this next week ends up doing. Going into we've already passed the Thanksgiving holiday season, so we will see what the Christmas holiday season and going into the new year brings us. So, I mean, it's been definitely a very interesting 2023. A good year for Bitcoin for sure. Absolutely a fantastic year. Probably, I think it is the best performing asset on the market right now. So even if it's not doing anything right now, it's done what it needed to do. So all the way down from January to current day, it's up 130%. So if you got in, around here, you're up significantly. On whatever investment that you put in. So, I mean, I started talking about this somewhere we had gotten right here. I made my first video on April 16th. So I said, I'm going to trace it all the way from 30K to 100K and then beyond too, because it's going to definitely go past. So, I mean, yeah, you're up 25% at that point, and you had the opportunity to get even more so. So if it came down here a couple times, so that's up 50%. So yeah, being up 50% on your investment within the year is not bad at all. Again, this is not financial advice, but again, I'm just here to show you the opportunity and kind of track the movement. something I want to be able to look back on and see what Bitcoin did in the past. So, again, this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out christalkscrypto.com for any type of crypto resources, and I will see y'all on the moon. Take care.